So let's have a look at drawing lines given an equation. So if we're given an equation, for example this one here, y equals x plus 3, two things we want to identify from that equation, the y-intercept and the gradient. If we know these two things, we can easily draw the line. So the y-intercept in this equation is that number there, so 3. And remember, the general form for the equation of a line is y equals mx plus c. So c is the y-intercept, and then the number in front of x is the gradient. So the y-intercept is 3, and in this case it's positive 3. And the gradient is the number in front of x. So that number there is actually 1. When you've got just a single x value, there's like an invisible 1 in front of that x, so the gradient is 1. Now if we were to change that gradient into rise over run, that is, the change in y over the change in x, that would be 1 over 1. So the gradient being 1, if you were to write that in fractional form, it would be 1 over 1. So in that form, we can what we call step out our gradient. So when I'm looking at this gradient here, that means that top number means I'm going to go up 1, and the bottom number means I'm going to move to the right 1. So I'll go up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. So that's what I mean by step out the gradient. So let's draw this on a grid. So y-intercept is 3. So on the y-axis I'm going to put my y-intercept there, positive 3. Now from the y-intercept I'm going to step out my gradient. So remember, my gradient is 1 over 1. So I'm going up 1 and across 1. Then I put another point there. Then from that point I go up 1 and across 1. Up 1 and across 1. And then I'm just drawing a line through those points. So something like that. Okay, of course you'd use a ruler, but that line there would be y equals x plus 3. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Y equals negative 2x. Now, it looks like there's no intercept here, but the intercept is actually 0. So when you've just got y equals some x value, the y-intercept is 0. So y-intercept is 0 and gradient is negative 2. So if I were to write the gradient in rise over run form, that would be negative 2 divided by 1. So I'd be going that number there, or the numerator, be going down 2, and that number means I'd be going to the right 1 unit. So let's draw this line. So y-intercept is 0, which is there, and my gradient is negative 2 over 1. So rise over run. In this case I'm going down, so down 2 and across 1 to the right. Down 2 and across 1. Down 2 and across 1. And so my line would look like this. So of course it would be straighter than that. And that is y equals negative 2x. Okay, last equation we've got here, y equals half x minus 1. So y-intercept is negative 1 and the gradient is 1 over 2. So y-intercept being negative 1 would be here, y-intercept, and the gradient is 1 over 2. So I'm going up 1 and to the right 2. Put a point there, up 1 and to the right 2. Up 1 and across 2, and then just joining those points. So that was y equals half x minus 1. And that's how you draw lines from the equation.